Good evening, everyone. This is Timothy, your host for A Time in Refinement, episode 6, I believe. I wanted to talk tonight about hookup culture, its effects on society, um, negative effects on relationships, individual aspects, etc. I've never partaken as a 28-year-old male. I've never engaged in it, so all of these are opinions and possible just shower thoughts on the matter. I know many friends, relatives, and coworkers, colleagues that can give their opinion on the matter, how it's damaged them, how it's not helped them pair bond, and how it makes them view the other person as more of an object versus an actual human being to be loved and to be cherished. This all ties in with pornography and adult content. I don't think that it's good for society. There is no shame involved anymore in regards to sex, in regards to hookups. It used to be not even out of a religious context, but it used to be sacred, and it used to be something that men and women used to bring themselves closer together instead of used for an act of just enjoyment and fun, like almost like a circus act. And the reason why there's such a wedge between relationships now, in my opinion, is because of this. And because of this, we are more apt to get out of a relationship or a marriage because the other person isn't satisfying us in the bedroom like they should. And I'm not saying that it's not part of a relationship or a marriage. In fact, I highly encourage it because there are definitely sexless relationships and marriages that definitely could use some spicing up, absolutely. But when we use this and put this at the very tippy top of what's important in a relationship, I think this is when we start to break things down. And this is when things start to get a little rocky. We're taught at a young age that men and women, the opposite sex of who we're viewing, is to be used as an object and for your satisfaction and your pleasure. And we have gotten away from the aspect of building and maintaining a proper human relationship with this person. And again, I'm an outside dude looking in with this, and perhaps I may have different opinions on the matter if I engaged in it, but I don't think I will. And the reason I stay away from it used to be for religious reasons, but more so it is for my emotional well being because I don't want to be attached to somebody that I don't want to be in a long term relationship with, especially considering that we just throw this around like baseballs and softballs, not to be cherished like it is. And there is no shame involved in this aspect of culture anymore. In fact, it's actually celebrated, and you're looked down upon if you haven't engaged in this act by the time you are X amount of years old. And it's a very interesting phenomenon because it didn't used to be this way. And statistics show that people that do not sleep with partners before they get together and have a long-term relationship slash marriage, the divorce rate is much, much, much lower. And of course, the religious people will come in and say, well, people that go to church and pray together have a 1% divorce rate. And that very well may be true. But they also don't take in body count as a prerequisite for this as well. And so I'll touch on more of this in later episodes, but I just firmly believe that it's damaging to society and damaging on an individual level. And it leads to anxiety and depression and unworthiness and unfulfillment and not knowing who you are, an identity crisis per se. And I know plenty of people that were pure before they got married, and they definitely still have their struggles, but it's definitely a lot, lot less than the people that engaged in all of this before they got married. And so I just think that light needs to be shed on this properly. And I used to be here nor there with, well, how do we fix this, Timothy, with when people go through puberty, and why are marriage rates so low, and do people get married when they're younger or when they get older? How do they manage sexual desires? And I haven't given it a whole lot of thought. It'd be something that I would be interested in touching on for sure. But for now, I just want to give my opinion on how damaging hookup culture is, again, like I said. And I'm not going to be the red pill guys that say, well, I deserve a girl that's pure when I get into a long term relationship, all while they are engaging in this hookup culture, while they are contributing to it. I cannot wrap my head around that. It's hilarious to me that these guys feel like they deserve a girl that hasn't slept with anybody, but yet they go and sleep around themselves beforehand. Wild to me. Don't ask me how it makes any sense, because it doesn't. And I just, I can't wrap my head around that. So I grew up pretty Christian conservative, as you guys know, and none of this was ever talked about. So it's very fascinating to me that I didn't go down that road of promiscuity, because I definitely could have if I wanted to. I'm not bragging here or anything like that, but I definitely could have if I decided to partake. And I just knew something deep down, whether it was God or whether it was something else, I knew deep down that it's not what I wanted. And I knew it wasn't going to make me happy, and it wasn't going to make me fulfilled. Because for me personally, what I've always wanted is I wanted to have a wife and a family. And I wanted that marriage to be basically unbreakable. And I think this is definitely a contributing factor to why divorce rates are so high, why people are unhappy in their marriage, because you compare your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend to the person that you were with before. And I don't know how that's healthy in a relationship for men and women, comparing on how much better this person was in bed. Because then you can just say, well, I'm not happy in this relationship, so I'm just going to go over to Pete, or I'm going to go over to Deborah over here, and they're just going to satisfy me in bed way more than my spouse can. And that is just completely unhealthy and is deranged behavior. And I know that there is forgiveness and people make mistakes, absolutely. But again, I come from a place where I think people inherently know deep down what they really want. They just give into their urges at that moment. And that's where discipline and self control comes in. So, anyway, these are my thoughts and my opinions. I'm not judging anybody for it. I'm just, I'm just again stating why I think it's wrong and why our society is the way that it is. And if you look at other cultures, whether they're religious or not, the ones that stay together, or if they have intercourse before they get married or a relationship, they tend to stay together longer. And we can make an argument about, well, is it a healthy relationship? Is it unhealthy? Sure, there could be unhealthy relationships, absolutely. But for the far majority percentage of people that abstain until they're with somebody long term, I think it's just going to have far more. It's the positive is going to far outweigh the negative in this aspect. And I think we need to get back to our roots on this, and definitely need to make a change for sure. So anyway, these are my thoughts for tonight. A new episode coming out later this week. I'll make sure to post again. I appreciate all that you listen, and I look forward to seeing you in the episode. Remember, you are loved, you are cherished. I love you very much. You are worthy, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers.